With tensions continuing to mount between slowing economic data and a Fed that says help is on the way, we'll discuss what pieces you need in the battle for your financial freedom. The title of this week's commentary is Tanks versus Fighters in the Battle for Financial Freedom. Let me say up front, certainly meant as no disrespect or to make light of conflict in general, let alone those conflicts going on in the world right now. This is solely inspired from the amount of World War II documentaries that I've been watching while on the treadmill, and at the same time brainstorming how are we going to communicate to clients in a more challenging environment that we've been in for a couple of years, in helping answer the question, put to bed or give them greater peace around this angst of what's a good investment, and really touch on really what is it supposed to be doing for you. So first, the setup. You have the Fed coming out last week, Jackson Hole, saying they're going to begin to cut rates. That's certainly trying to spur some bullish activity within the market. Definitely helped lead a little bit of the rebound. On the other hand, you still have some slowing data. Most recently, all 5 regional Fed manufacturing activities came out showing slowing employment. You had shrinking capital expenditures in those reports, and in quite a few of them, just general manufacturing activity as a whole slowing. Now, I know for those in the first camp, they'll say, yeah, but the Fed's on the way. Just a friendly reminder that the Fed's existed for quite some time now, and we've still had plenty of recessions, plenty of slowdowns. Economic gravity is what it is. Certainly monetary policy plays a role, and yet the forces of the economy are arguably stronger. So with all that in mind, then people are like, well, where should we be? What's a good investment? Trying to premise that on the idea that you can resolve or predict that tension, and those we may not even know that are on the way, is a fool's errand. It's a waste of time. It's certainly a waste of a lot of emotion. The reality is you need to have a lot of different pieces, and you need to have pieces that play different roles. So let's talk just very broadly, tanks versus fighters. Tanks we'd analogize to bonds, real estate, things that certainly can go down. We've seen that in the last few years, but as a general rule, are far more resilient. These are things that are going to provide you cash flow that can help you again through tough economic conditions. Usually it'll serve to buffer volatility so that you, again, don't have the kind of emotional pull that you can have when you see a drawdown in your portfolio. Matt's going to put up a couple charts side by side here. One is, again, just showing the drawdowns in the stock market. You've seen this a lot from us here of late. The other one is the drawdowns of bond markets. And you'll see the average stock market, a lot deeper drawdowns, on average 14+%, compared to the bond market, on average about 3%. Again, which is just to say less volatility. These, like tanks, are meant to be more sturdy, more durable. No, they're not going to give you the returns of some high-flying tech stock, but they're going to play their own important role in mustering the forces to help you on your path to financial freedom. Compare that to what we'll call our fighter planes. These are the more sexy parts of one's portfolio, exciting, at least during good markets, but just like fighter planes, yes, they go high. Yes, they go fast, but they can be more volatile. They're certainly more vulnerable in a lot of ways than fixed income. And we'd analogize these to stocks, private equity, private credit. A lot of things that, again, can have a role within people's portfolio, but they're going to have their own strengths. They're going to have their own weaknesses. So much time put in by clients trying to decide, do I want a tank? Do I want a fighter plane? I really like going fast, but I really like being safe and secure. The answer, of course, is having a little bit of both and mapping out how you weigh between the two of them in terms of their totality with your personal story. Where are you at on the journey? If you're earlier in the journey, you've got very safe cash flow, maybe we have some more fighter planes, some things that can help us go fast. Or later on, needing to have more cash flow, more durability, maybe we need to start to lean into those tank-like asset classes with a little bit more regularity. A couple other things people want to keep in mind as you're thinking about how you're going to construct this portfolio, this army that's going to help you win this battle to try to achieve financial freedom. Again, it's not just the near-term setup that we alluded to up front, but what is kind of the longer-term setup? I think one of the biggest things, surprises, again, are what get people, we talk about it all the time, that this is why we do these commentaries for you. It's not to predict, but to prepare. The analogy I used just last week of jumping into water at 70 degrees or having it dumped on you while sunbathing, same temperature of water, two very different experiences because of the surprise factor. And something that surprises a lot of people is for all the market averages that they may know, hey, stocks give me around 10%, average doesn't happen very often. Put another way, your ability to predict whether you should be in a tank or a fighter plane is very, very difficult to do. Consider the chart that we're putting up right now from AMG, which just shows annual S&P 500 returns over time. And dating back almost 100 years, you have only 6 occasions where the stock market gave you something like an average return. That's highlighted by the blue box there, where you can see there's only been 6 times in roughly 100 years where you've gotten an 8 to 12% return in the market. Usually it's going to be far more, far less. When people have this happen, which again is happening almost every year, and get surprised, it gets them unstable, gets them wondering, oh, do I need more tanks? Do I need more fighter jets? And of course, usually zigging when they should be zagging. Loading up on tanks when it's the time to get into a few more fighter planes or vice versa. The second point is by maintaining a balance, and this is the second chart we're going to put up. Again, being that diversified investor, you can see you can get near the long-term returns of just being in all fighter pilots, i.e. all stocks, fighter planes, with a lot less volatility. And that's before attempting to move that return number up even more by proper rebalancing. In closing, we know, live every day, how emotional, how important it is to have you find this financial freedom for you, in your family. And these questions weigh on people, particularly those, again, responsible for making the decisions, who want to make sure that they're doing it right for their families, for their friends, for their other loved ones. This tension, this weight, some of it, patience, discipline to wait through volatility is an inescapable part of it. But how you construct things, how you think through history can be done with a lot more clarity, a lot more comfort, and a lot more conviction than you may have believed. We're here to help anytime. Thanks so much.